Hey everyone, you guys asked for a deep dive into essential foods for a healthy kitchen. So we're diving in. We're using a YouTube video by Dr. Carlos Jaramillo as our guide. It's called Los 12 alimentos que nunca pueden faltar en tu cocina, which translates to the 12 foods that should never be missing from your kitchen. He emphasizes that these are his picks for a good nutritional foundation. So it'll be interesting to explore these and see what we learn. And by the way, if you don't live in Alaska, you might not have easy access to asparagus year-round. No judgment here. This is all about understanding the why behind these food choices so you can make it work wherever you live.
That's right.
Okay, so first on the list is olive oil. It's a staple of the Mediterranean diet, but what's so special about it besides the fact that it tastes good?
Well, olive oil is famous for its anti-inflammatory properties, thanks in part to a compound called oleocanthal. Research suggests that oleocanthal acts similarly to ibuprofen in the body.
Wait, so that little drizzle on my salad is like a mini dose of pain relief?
Pretty much. And that's not all. Olive oil is also full of antioxidants, and there's evidence that it plays a role in regulating insulin. But here's the catch. A lot of the olive oil you find is actually adulterated.
Adulterated? You mean like it's not really olive oil?
Exactly. Some producers mix in cheaper oils, like canola or soybean oil, and then they even mess with the color to make it look like real olive oil. But these cheaper oils can actually promote inflammation in the body.
So unlike olive oil, they cause inflammation. Okay, so how can we avoid getting tricked? What should we look for when we're buying olive oil?
Three things. First, check the color. Pure olive oil has kind of a greenish golden hue. It shouldn't be pale yellow. Second, look for dark glass bottles. This protects the oil from light degradation. And finally, always choose extra virgin. First, cold-pressed olive oil.
Okay, so we're going for quality over quantity. And how should we use it? Is it okay for cooking?
It's best to save it for cold dishes or low-temperature cooking. To preserve the nutrients, high heat can cause oxidation, and that diminishes the beneficial properties of the oil.
Interesting. So we can have our olive oil and eat it too. Just got to be mindful of the temperature. Okay, up next we have dark leafy greens. I'm all about my veggies.
And for good reason. Prioritizing vegetables is key for good nutrition. They provide a wide range of vitamins and minerals. But dark leafy greens are really in a league of their own. Spinach, kale, broccoli. These are packed with phytonutrients, especially catechins.
Okay, yeah, those are the compounds that give plants their vibrant colors. But what's so special about them beyond just looking pretty?
Well, catechins are potent antioxidants, and research suggests they have amazing benefits, especially when it comes to protecting our cells from damage and supporting healthy aging.
I love that. So eating the rainbow isn't just a catchy phrase, it's actually a science-backed strategy for good health.
Absolutely. And speaking of colorful foods, let's talk about berries, particularly raspberries and blueberries.
Ooh, berries. I love them. They're like nature's candy. Sweet, delicious, and good for you.
They are. And they're also packed with antioxidants. Berries, especially raspberries and blueberries, are rich in quercetin and resveratrol, which have been linked to a reduced risk of cognitive decline, heart disease, and even some types of cancer.
So they taste good, A&D. They're protecting our brains and bodies from disease.
Exactly. And remember how we were talking about pesticides in strawberries? Well, raspberries and blueberries are generally easier to find organic.
Oh, good point. All right, now get ready for this next one. It's a little pungent, but I promise it's worth it. Garlic.
Oh, garlic is a fascinating one. Have you ever heard of aged garlic extract?
Aged garlic extract. I've got to admit that's new to me.
It's essentially concentrated garlic.
Yeah.
And it really amplifies the benefits. Garlic already has a potent antioxidant called gallic acid, but aged garlic extract takes it even further. It has sulfur-containing molecules that are known for their powerful anti-inflammatory effects.
Wow. So it's like a garlic on steroids?
You can say that. Studies have linked aged garlic extract to lower cholesterol and blood pressure. Some research even suggests it could have anti-tumor properties.
Okay, now I'm intrigued. I need to learn more about that. Speaking of things that make you feel good, let's talk about coffee.
Ah, coffee. But not just any coffee. We're talking high-altitude, medium roast coffee.
Okay, I'm listening. Why is that so important?
Well, the altitude and the roasting process are really important for preserving the beneficial compounds in the coffee. When coffee beans are over-roasted, it actually diminishes their antioxidant content.
Interesting. So even with coffee, it's all about quality over quantity.
Exactly. And to get the most out of those benefits. And avoid messing up your sleep. Try to enjoy your coffee in the morning when your cortisol levels are naturally higher.
So that morning cup really is a metabolic jumpstart. All right, let's move on to a food that has been unfairly demonized for years. Eggs.
Ah, eggs. Remember when they were public enemy number one because of cholesterol? Thankfully, science has debunked that myth.
Thank goodness. Now I can finally enjoy my omelets without feeling guilty.
Absolutely. Eggs are a nutritional powerhouse, especially when it comes to protein. They offer a perfect amino acid profile and high bioavailability, which means our bodies can easily absorb and use those nutrients.
So no more egg white omelets. We're bringing back the whole egg.
Exactly. The yolk is where it's at. It's packed with essential nutrients like choline, which is super important for brain health, especially for kids.
Choline, yeah, that's involved in some pretty important brain functions, right?
Yes, choline is a precursor to acetylcholine, a neurotransmitter that's essential for a whole bunch of bodily functions: sleep, repair, relaxation, immune function, and so much more.
Wow, I had no idea so much goodness could be packed into a single egg.
Okay, up next is clean animal protein. Because you know what they say, you are what you eat.
In this case, you are what the animal you eat ate. Think about it, a grain-fed, factory-farmed animal lives a very different life than one raised on pasture or given organic feed. And that difference shows up in the meat's nutritional profile. You know, I've actually noticed that when I've traveled. The meat in some countries is so much leaner and more flavorful. It really shows you how much diet affects the quality of the meat.
That's a great point. The quality and composition of meat are directly influenced by what the animal eats.
Okay, so how do we navigate all the different meat choices out there? What should we be looking for?
When you're buying beef, look for grass-fed. For chicken, choose organic. And for fish, wild-caught is ideal. These labels generally indicate that the animal was raised more humanely and sustainably, and the meat is likely higher in beneficial nutrients.
Got it. Quality sourcing is key. What about other sources of protein like bone broth?
Bone broth is a great option. It's super nutrient dense, especially if it's made from the bones of healthy pasture-raised animals. It's packed with collagen, which is great for joints, and tons of minerals that support overall well-being.
I've been hearing a lot about bone broth lately. I'm definitely adding that to my list. All right, let's move on to a mineral that gets a lot of negative attention: salt.
Wow, salt. It's kind of become the villain of the nutrition world, but it's actually essential for our health. Like most things, it's all about balance.
So it's not about avoiding salt altogether, but finding that balance.
Exactly. Our bodies need sodium to regulate fluid balance, facilitate muscle contractions, and nerve impulses.
Oh, wow. So it's not just about hydration, it's about our nervous system and our ability to move.
It is. But too much salt can have negative consequences. So it's all about finding that sweet spot. The maximum daily intake of sodium is about 2,300 milligrams, which translates to about 5 grams of salt.
So moderation is key. And what about different types of salt? Is all salt created equal?
That's a great question. You want to avoid that heavily refined table salt and go for a minimally processed sea salt, which retains its natural minerals. Just make sure it's iodized to support healthy thyroid function.
Iodized sea salt, got it. So even with something as basic as salt, there are nuances. This really is a deep dive.
It is. And salt does a lot more than just keep you hydrated. It helps with cellular stability, recovery, even mood regulation and preventing bloating.
Wow, salt is a multitasker. Okay, let's move on to something a little more tangy. Apple cider vinegar. I love adding a splash to my salads. It's so versatile.
And it's more than just a tasty addition to your food. Apple cider vinegar contains acetic acid, and that has some amazing health benefits. For example, did you know that consuming apple cider vinegar before meals can actually improve blood sugar control?
Really? That's interesting. I knew it was good for weight loss, but I didn't know about the blood sugar connection.
Yeah, it's true. There's even research that suggests it can help regulate cortisol and calcium levels.
So it's a multitasker in the health benefits department, too. I like it more and more now.
It is, but one of its most important functions, in my opinion, is its ability to enhance stomach acid production.
Why is stomach acid so important? I thought too much stomach acid was a bad thing.
That's a common misconception. While excessive stomach acid can cause problems, having enough stomach acid is crucial for good digestion. It's important for your gallbladder and even your pancreas. When you combine the acetic acid from apple cider vinegar with a stomach's hydrochloric acid, it creates this powerful duo that breaks down proteins and ensures smooth digestion.
So that tangy kick is actually doing us a favor. I never knew.
Yeah.
This is fascinating. Okay, let's talk about another plant-based powerhouse, nuts. I love snacking on nuts. They're so satisfying, and they give you that sustained energy.
And they're packed with nutrients, but there's so many different kinds, it can get overwhelming.
Right. Which ones should we prioritize?
I'd say choose nuts that you enjoy eating. and that you can afford, of course. But if you're looking for a good balance of affordability and nutritional value, I'd recommend Brazil nuts and almonds.
Okay, those are both easy to find. What makes them stand out?
They're both excellent sources of fiber, healthy fats, protein, and essential minerals. Brazil nuts are one of the best sources of selenium, a powerful antioxidant that supports your immune system and protects against cell damage.
Selenium, yeah, that's also supposed to be good for your thyroid, right?
Exactly. And almonds are a great source of vitamin E, another potent antioxidant that's important for skin health and immune function.
So it's a delicious way to get in those extra nutrients and healthy fats. I'm sold. Now let's tackle another plant-based staple that's a little controversial. Legumes.
Ah, legumes. They've definitely gotten a bad rap in certain dietary circles, but they offer a lot of benefits when they're incorporated into your diet thoughtfully.
So what's the truth about legumes? Are they friend or foe?
The idea that humans haven't evolved to eat legumes is a myth. There's plenty of evidence that suggests we've been eating beans and lentils for centuries. And while they are a good source of fiber and protein, it's important to remember that their protein content is relatively low compared to animal sources, and their amino acid profile isn't complete.
Okay, what does that mean? Complete versus incomplete amino acid profiles.
It means that legumes are missing some of the essential amino acids that our bodies need. But there's an easy fix.
I'm all ears.
Combine them with other plant-based protein sources, like nuts and vegetables. This will create a balanced and complete amino acid profile, so you'll be getting all the building blocks your body needs.
So it's all about variety. Just like with eating a rainbow of vegetables, I love how everything connects.
It does. And finally, we arrive at one of my personal favorites, mushrooms.
Yes. Mushrooms are so versatile. I love their earthy flavor and texture, and they add so much to dishes.
And they have so many nutritional benefits. Don't be afraid to branch out and try different varieties. Button mushrooms, oyster mushrooms, shiitakes, reishi, lion's mane. There's a whole world of mushrooms out there.
I've been trying to incorporate different varieties into my cooking lately. What makes mushrooms so good for us?
They're a great source of B vitamins, which are essential for energy production, cell function, and nerve health.
Oh, so they're like an energy booster for our cells.
You could say that.
Yeah.
And certain varieties, like shiitake and maitake mushrooms, contain compounds that have been shown to boost the immune system and even fight cancer cells.
Wow, so they're like tiny warriors, protecting our bodies from disease.
Exactly.
Yeah.
They're also a good source of fiber and antioxidants. Plus, their unique texture and flavor can really make your meals more interesting.
Okay, I'm definitely adding more mushrooms to my grocery list. Now, before we wrap up this first part, Dr. Jaramillo also talks about how important spices and condiments are.
Oh, yes. Spices and condiments. They're such a great addition. Not only do they add flavor and make your meals more exciting, but they also offer a ton of health benefits.
I love experimenting with different spices and condiments. It's like traveling the world through flavors.
I agree. And so many spices have powerful medicinal properties, like turmeric with its anti-inflammatory curcumin, cinnamon for blood sugar regulation, ginger for nausea and pain relief.
It's like adding a little dose of medicine to your meals.
Exactly. And don't forget about those simple herbs like thyme and oregano. They're full of antioxidants and have antimicrobial properties.
This is incredible. I feel so inspired to revamp my spice rack and start getting creative in the kitchen. So there you have it, everyone. The first part of our deep dive into 12 essential kitchen staples that can transform your health.
We've covered a lot of ground, but we're just getting started. We'll be right back to explore the amazing benefits of these foods in more detail. Welcome back. All right, so we've got a lot more to uncover about these 12 kitchen staples, and I'm excited to share some more fascinating details.
Yeah, I'm ready for round two. So we started with olive oil, and you were talking about its anti-inflammatory properties. Can you break that down a little more for us?
Sure, olive oil is packed with polyphenols. They're powerful antioxidants. And one type, called oleocanthal, is actually being compared to ibuprofen because of its ability to reduce inflammation in the body.
So olive oil is not just about adding flavor to your food. It's about fighting inflammation at a cellular level.
Exactly. And chronic inflammation is linked to so many diseases: heart disease, cancer, Alzheimer's, autoimmune disorders.
Wow. So just by adding olive oil to our diets, we could be protecting our long-term health. What about heart health? I always hear that olive oil is good for your heart. Why is that?
Well, olive oil is a monounsaturated fat, and that helps lower what we call bad LDL cholesterol and raise good HDL cholesterol. This balance is really important for maintaining healthy blood pressure and reducing your risk of heart attacks and strokes.
So it's not about cutting out fat altogether, it's about choosing the right kinds of fat.
Exactly. And the polyphenols in olive oil also help protect LDL cholesterol from oxidation, which is another key factor in preventing heart disease.
Okay, so it lowers bad cholesterol, raises good cholesterol, and protects against oxidation. Olive oil is like a triple threat against heart disease. All right, let's move on to another superstar, dark leafy greens. I'm ready to channel my inner Popeye and eat all the spinach.
Good choice. Remember we were talking about those catechins? They play a big role in protecting our cells from damage, reducing inflammation, and supporting healthy aging.
Yeah, I'm all about aging gracefully. So how do those catechins actually work?
Well, they basically act like scavengers in the body. They neutralize those harmful free radicals that damage our cells and contribute to chronic diseases.
So they're like little warriors fighting off the bad guys in our bodies.
Exactly. And dark leafy greens are full of them. Plus, they're loaded with essential vitamins and minerals. And fiber, of course.
Okay, I'm convinced. Dark leafy greens are non-negotiable now. What about berries? Raspberries and blueberries are my absolute favorites.
Those are great choices. Those little berries are full of antioxidants. Remember quercetin and resveratrol? Well, those have been linked to a reduced risk of cognitive decline, heart disease, and even some types of cancer.
So they taste amazing. And D, they're protecting our brains and bodies. That's a win-win.
Absolutely. And don't forget about fiber. Berries are a great source of fiber,
Mm-hmm.
which is important for digestion and maintaining a healthy weight.
Yeah, fiber is so important. Why is that?
Well, for one thing, it helps regulate your blood sugar levels. It also feeds the good bacteria in your gut and keeps you feeling full longer.
So they're good for our taste buds, our brains, and our guts. All right, let's move on to that more pungent food. Garlic. I'm willing to deal with a little garlic breath if it means I'm getting all those health benefits. You mentioned aged garlic extract earlier. Can you tell me more about its benefits?
Sure, studies have shown that aged garlic extract can actually boost your immune system. It does this by increasing the activity of natural killer cells, which are like your body's first line of defense against infections, and even cancer cells.
So garlic is like a bodyguard protecting us from invaders.
That's a good way to think about it. Yeah. And those anti-inflammatory properties we were talking about, they also help with colds and the flu. Garlic can actually help reduce the severity of your symptoms.
I'm stocking up on garlic this winter. No cold or flu is going to take me down. Okay, let's talk about coffee. That morning ritual that so many of us rely on.
Ah, coffee. Besides that much-needed energy boost, coffee has some other impressive health benefits. It's actually rich in antioxidants, especially one called chlorogenic acid.
Antioxidants in coffee, that's not something you hear every day.
I know, right? Research suggests that chlorogenic acid may be linked to a lower risk of type 2 diabetes, Parkinson's disease, and some types of cancer.
Wow, so coffee isn't just a pick-me-up, it's a disease-fighting beverage.
It is pretty amazing. Studies have also shown that coffee drinkers may have a lower risk of liver disease, including cirrhosis and liver cancer. But remember, moderation is key. Too much caffeine can be a bad thing. So listen to your body and find what works best for you.
Yeah, it's all about balance. Okay, let's talk about eggs. I'm glad we're finally past that whole cholesterol myth.
Me too. And there's even more good news. Eggs are an excellent source of two powerful antioxidants, lutein and zeaxanthin. These are really important for protecting your eyes from age-related macular degeneration and cataracts.
So eggs are like a multivitamin for our eyes.
You could say that. They're also a great source of vitamin D, which is essential for bone health, immune function, and even mood regulation.
Wow, eggs really are a nutritional powerhouse. All right, let's move on to clean animal protein.
This is a topic I'm really passionate about. It's not just about treating animals ethically, it's about our own health too. Animals that are raised on pasture or given organic feed have a different nutritional profile than those that are raised in confined animal feeding operations.
Yeah, what are some of the key differences?
Well, meat from grass-fed animals is higher in omega-3 fatty acids and conjugated linoleic acid, or CLA. Both of those have been linked to a reduced risk of heart disease, cancer, and inflammation.
So it's not just about choosing any meat, it's about choosing high-quality meat from animals that were raised in a more natural and humane way.
Exactly. And don't forget about the environmental impact, too. Factory farming contributes to greenhouse gas emissions and pollution, while sustainable farming practices help protect our planet.
So by choosing clean animal protein, we're not only supporting our own health, but the health of the planet, too. Now let's talk about that mineral that often gets a bad rap, salt.
Right, we talked about how our bodies need sodium. But salt is also really important for muscle contractions and nerve impulses.
So it's not just about hydration, it's about our nervous system and being able to move.
Exactly. Salt helps regulate blood pressure and fluid balance,
Hmm.
which prevents dehydration and maintains healthy blood volume. It's amazing how one little mineral can have such big effects on our health.
It really is. But we got to be careful not to have too much right.
Yeah, moderation's key. Too much salt can lead to high blood pressure and other health problems.
Okay, so we need it. But we need to be mindful of how much we're eating. What about apple cider vinegar? I'm so curious about all of its benefits.
Apple cider vinegar has been used for a long time for its medicinal properties, and now science is finally catching up and validating a lot of those traditional uses.
And what have scientists discovered?
Well, studies have shown that apple cider vinegar can help lower blood sugar levels by improving insulin sensitivity. This is especially beneficial for people with type 2 diabetes or insulin resistance.
So it's like a natural way to help regulate blood sugar.
Exactly. And some studies even suggest that apple cider vinegar might help with weight loss by making you feel fuller and reducing your calorie intake.
So it could potentially help with weight management and blood sugar levels. I think apple cider vinegar is officially a staple in my pantry now. All right, what about nuts? I'm a big fan of nuts. They're so versatile and delicious. Plus, they give me energy.
And they're so good for you. Nuts are a great source of those heart-healthy fats, monounsaturated and polyunsaturated, that can help lower cholesterol levels and reduce your risk of heart disease.
So they're a tasty way to keep our hearts healthy.
Exactly. They're also packed with fiber, protein, vitamins, and minerals.
Which nuts are your favorites?
I love almonds for their vitamin E, walnuts for their omega-3s, and Brazil nuts for their selenium. But honestly, all nuts offer incredible health benefits, so choose the ones you like best.
That's great advice. Okay, now let's revisit those controversial but nutritious legumes.
We talked about how people say that legumes are a modern food and that humans haven't evolved to eat them. Well, not only have we been eating legumes for a very long time, but they're also very good for you.
Okay, yeah, tell me all the reasons why I should be eating more beans and lentils.
Well, they're a great source of fiber, which we already talked about is super important for digestion, regulating blood sugar, and making you feel full. They're also a good source of plant-based protein. But remember, their amino acid profile isn't complete.
All right, so what's the best way to eat legumes so that I'm getting all the amino acids I need?
You can combine them with other plant-based protein sources, like nuts, seeds, or whole grains. That way you're creating a complete amino acid profile. And don't be afraid to branch out and try different types. Lentils, chickpeas, black beans, kidney beans. There are so many to choose from.
I love how versatile they are. You can add them to soups and stews and salads. You can even make veggie burgers with them.
Exactly. Plus, they're super affordable, which makes them a great option for everyone.
All right, let's move on to those fascinating fungi, mushrooms.
Mushrooms are so unique and versatile. They offer both culinary and medicinal benefits.
Yeah, I love their flavor and texture. What are some of their health benefits?
Well, for one thing, they're a great source of B vitamins, including riboflavin, niacin, and pantothenic acid, all of which are essential for energy production, cell function, and nerve health.
So they give our cells energy.
You could say that. And some mushrooms like shiitake and matek contain compounds that have been shown to boost the immune system and even fight cancer cells.
Wow, so they really are like tiny warriors protecting our bodies.
They are. They're also a good source of fiber and antioxidants, so they're a great addition to any diet.
I'm going to start adding more mushrooms to my diet. All right, before we move on, let's talk about those flavor enhancers, spices and condiments.
Yes, spices and condiments. They're a great way to add flavor to your food, but they can also be really beneficial for your health.
Yeah, I love trying out different spices and condiments, like traveling the world through food.
I agree. And so many spices have incredible medicinal properties. Like turmeric, it contains curcumin, which is a potent anti-inflammatory. And that has been linked to a reduced risk of heart disease, cancer, and Alzheimer's disease.
It's like you're adding medicine to your food.
Exactly. And ginger is another amazing spice. It can help with nausea, making it great for motion sickness or morning sickness. It's also a natural pain reliever, and it can help with muscle soreness after exercise.
Wow, so ginger is like a natural cure-all.
It really does have a lot to offer.
Yeah.
And then there's cinnamon, which can help regulate blood sugar levels. And of course, garlic,
Right.
which we've already talked about, is great for your immune system and for fighting inflammation.
This has been such a fascinating deep dive. I feel so inspired to go revamp my kitchen now and fill it with all these amazing foods.
That's great to hear. Remember, healthy eating doesn't have to be complicated or restrictive. By incorporating these 12 kitchen staples into your diet, you can really improve your health, boost your energy levels, and protect your health for years to come.
That's so inspiring. Now that we've explored all the incredible benefits of these 12 kitchen staples, let's shift gears in part 3 and talk about how to actually incorporate them into our diets in a way that is both nourishing and delicious. All right, so we've talked about all the amazing benefits of these 12 kitchen staples, from olive oil's anti-inflammatory powers to the gut-friendly fiber in berries. Now let's talk about how to actually put all of this into practice. How do we create meals that are both good for us and taste delicious?
That's the key, isn't it? Knowing about healthy foods is one thing, but actually making them a part of your everyday life is another. The good news is, it really doesn't have to be that complicated.
Okay, good. Because I'm not exactly a master chef over here.
Yeah.
What are some of your top tips for making healthy eating a reality?
Well, one of the simplest things you can do is focus on building a balanced plate. Try to incorporate a variety of colors, textures, and flavors from each of the food groups we've talked about.
Like a rainbow on my plate. I like that idea.
Exactly. Picture this: a big salad with dark leafy greens, colorful bell peppers, juicy cherry tomatoes, topped with some grilled salmon, a drizzle of olive oil, and a sprinkle of toasted almonds.
Okay, now you're making me hungry.
And don't forget the finishing touches. Spices and condiments can really make a dish, both in terms of flavor and adding those extra nutrients.
Yeah, I love spices. It's like adding a little magic to your meals.
It is, and it's amazing how a simple sprinkle of turmeric or a dash of cinnamon can really elevate a dish.
Because let's be honest, if it doesn't taste good, we're not going to eat it no matter how healthy it is.
Exactly. It's all about making healthy eating enjoyable and sustainable. Remember, this isn't about being perfect or depriving yourself. It's about finding a balance that works for you and nourishing your body without feeling restricted.
So it's okay to have those less healthy treats every now and then. We don't have to give up all the foods we love.
Not at all. It's all about balance. If you're eating mostly whole, unprocessed foods and incorporating these 12 kitchen staples into your diet most of the time, then you definitely have room for some indulgences.
That's a relief. I thought I was going to have to say goodbye to my weekend pancakes.
Not at all. Just enjoy those treats mindfully and without any guilt.
Mindful indulgence. I like that. Any other tips for creating a healthy eating pattern that doesn't feel like a chore?
I'd say don't be afraid to experiment in the kitchen. Try some new recipes. Explore different cuisines. Just have fun with it. Cooking should be enjoyable, not stressful.
I think a lot of people feel intimidated by cooking.
Yeah, I agree. But there's so many resources out there these days. Cookbooks, websites, cooking classes. There's something for everyone. And don't be afraid to get creative.
Make it your own. What about getting family and friends involved?
Yes. Make cooking and eating together a fun social activity. It's a great way to connect with people, learn from each other, and create those healthy habits together.
Yeah, turning mealtime into quality time. It's about so much more than just the food.
Exactly. And remember, we're all on a journey, and there's no one right way to eat healthy. What works for one person might not work for another. Listen to your body, experiment, and figure out what makes you feel your best.
That's so important. We're all different, and our bodies have different needs.
Exactly. And if you're ever struggling, or you need some extra guidance, don't hesitate to reach out to a healthcare professional or a registered dietitian. They can help you create a personalized nutrition plan that supports your goals.
That's great advice. Sometimes we all need a little help.
Definitely. And remember, this is a journey, not a race. There will be good days and bad days. But the important thing is to keep learning, keep experimenting, and keep nourishing your body.
That's such a great message. I feel so inspired to stock up on these 12 kitchen staples and start creating delicious and healthy meals. Any final thoughts for our listeners today?
I'd say, remember that food is more than just fuel. It's medicine. By making conscious choices about what we eat, we can nourish our bodies, boost our energy, protect our health, and really thrive.
I love that. Well, that wraps up our deep dive into the 12 essential kitchen staples that can transform your health.
We'd love to hear from you. What surprised you most about this list? What one change you're going to make this week? Share your thoughts and experiences with us. We're all in this together.
And that's it for today's show, everyone. Until next time, keep diving deep and keep nourishing yourselves.